Hey, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk, and I am your host, C Money. And please pardon me, I am a little bit under the weather. I'm getting better. I just coming off of a cold. If you do see me sniffing or rubbing my nose, it's because I got caught in the rain a couple of days ago, and a couple of people that I know have gotten caught in the rain. It's been some weather throughout the South Florida area. We are in hurricane season, so we're on and off. During the spring and summertime, we do have a lot of rain that come in on and off. So you're gonna, you kind of can see that my nose is kind of stuffed up right now, but I'm doing good. I've been taking medicines and vitamins, drinks and all of that, so it's cool. As everything is straight, and you ain't got nothing to worry about. So let's get right into it. Today I want to talk about a topic about which something that just happened here in South Florida, and I want to talk about it. I don't know about it worldwide, and it's something that I really want to discuss. Um, the Miami-Dade County School Board, MDCPS, just passed and approved of middle schools and high schools in teaching sex education in public schools. And that's down here in the Miami-Dade County area, not the South Florida, Broward, and Palm Beach and other, because they says that the state of Florida is requiring all public schools to teach sex education in their schools. Now, as you know, there is some that are for it, and there is people that are against it. And you know why a lot of people are against it, because a lot of people, have that feeling that they shouldn't be knowing stuff like that. It's too young and stuff like that and everything. So this is what this is. Before we get started, if you have any questions or comments you want to talk about, you can send it at the bottom of this page. You can also email us roundtable00@yahoo.com. And let me give you my opinion of it. I actually think that this is a good idea to teach sex education in school. Now, my thing about that is, at first, there are a lot of people that, like, now there are a lot of people that are opposed to it. And I know why they're opposed to it. It's because they feel as if, because of the simple fact is that students now, you know, to me, students now need to know about sex at an earlier age in middle schools and high school, because I believe that a lot of these students are getting their sex education through the media, through the TV, through social media, through the internet. You know, um, a lot of these cable channels, they don't have, especially the pay-per-view and all that stuff. You know, they have where they can show nudity and stuff like that or whatever. Remember back in the day when we was younger, the only way we could see nudity is if we went to the last 90 something channel, and they had that little channel that was scrambled, and you had to look to try to see if you could see a little bit of nudity on that little scrambling channel, because a lot of the families didn't have the nudity channel. So that little last channel or cable channel that used to be on the cable network, and it was a scrambling because it was like the fuzzy little channel, and then you had to try to figure out and look through and see if you could see a little bit of nudity. That's how we used to get it, with us back in the day. We didn't have it now, when with a click of a button you could see a naked woman or a naked man. Or now you have where they have live models online, where all you need is a credit card or a bank card, and you can see a naked woman taking a shower. And now they have all of these spam people that, oh, I do live shows, you want to come watch my show, click on here. And now that they're giving kids these bank cards and debit cards, and now kids have access to their families' accounts and stuff, now they can say, oh, I can click and do these things. So now a lot of these kids are learning more about sexual content through the media, social media, and the internet. So I feel as if it's better for them to learn in a place where they learn math and English and social studies and geography and all of these other subjects. It's better for them to learn it there than to go out and learn it through the streets. You know, like they said back in the day when the kids used to come up and say, "Mom and Dad, where babies come from?" Nah, they don't have to ask Mom and Dad, because now these days there are many together families. Now you either have a baby mama or a baby daddy, or you have the child is living with the mama or the child is living with the daddy, or you have broken homes. It's not like back in the day when mama and daddy was together and they've been together for 30, 40, 50 years. Now these days people having babies, they don't stick together. They get into arguments, break up, the mama moves away, the daddy moves away, or saying, the child don't get to see the daddy, or they breaking up, or they in separate home. So it's like now for kids to learn about sex, they have to learn it through the eyes of one parent or the eyes of social media and the internet. So I think it's better for them to learn it in the schools. Now, me, I don't think they need to show every detail of it. I just think they need to clean it up to where, yeah, you need to know about the reproductive organs and the body parts, and how the male and the female reproduce and make a baby. Yeah, but you need to clean it up to where it shows them. And also they need to do it to the sense. Now, to me, my thing is, I wouldn't do it in a biblical sense, because of course the Bible tells you have to wait till you're married. But not everybody's gonna mindset, because right now everybody lives in sin, because nobody waits until they're married. Yeah, you may have 20, 21, and 22-year-old virgins, but I doubt they're gonna wait till they're married. Because basically they just haven't found the right one to actually have a virginity, but to give to be their first virgin, they give up their virginity to. But a lot, to me, there are a lot more virgin women than there are virgin men, because I don't know how many men out there are really virgins to say that they can say that they've been a virgin, like in their 30s, like the movie The 40-Year-Old Virgin. But so I look at it as if, yes, you need to teach sex education in school. Now, in middle schools, I don't know. In middle schools, they need to be a little tightened, because I know sex starts happening while you're in middle school, because like around 13, 14 years old is when you are in middle school. So a lot of kids get pregnant at that age. So yeah, you need to start, but that's when you're supposed to give it a little tweak, meaning that you're not supposed to get on the hardcore. High school is when you give them the hardcore, because high school is really when you got to tighten up. So my thing is, you need to teach little by little in middle school, but high school, give them the all goals. So, okay, this and this and this and this, but still keep it clean, because you don't know about a lot of this stuff. A lot of these things are changing. And then also, not that, you need to teach them about the diseases and stuff that occurs is behind this. Don't just teach them about say to kid, you need to teach them behind diseases. Like in health class, I took health class, and in health class they had a little simulator that it showed the penis, but it only showed the penis like the little X-ray type form of penis thing they showed, because it was a video. So my thing is, they don't teach you everything in health class. Health class only teach you about maybe the body, maybe certain stuff, but they don't teach you the real stuff about reproductive, how a woman have sex. I mean, not how a woman have sex. Excuse me, how a woman have birth. The reproductive system. They don't teach you about puberty, or because when a guy grows up, and and I've experienced this, and a guy goes through puberty, and the female, but when a guy goes through puberty, for the women who don't know, at the age of 10, at the age of 11, 12, 13, a guy starts, body starts developing, and their body starts developing into a certain way where they're, how can I say it? I don't want to be too, sexual graphic. Their semen starts to come out, and they call it wet dreams. Where overnight, how you pee in the bed, how kids pee in the bed, like teenagers start having their organs and their specimens start releasing their self, and men, and it's called wet dreams. And I just want to tweak it a little bit, even though this is YouTube. I don't want to be nasty or dirty or anything of that nature, because even though I am a free spirit talk show, a free spirit host, I just like to still keep it clean because you have some people that may have kids that watch and stuff like that. But um, they have it where our body is going through changes, so we don't get to teach about that, especially like myself when you know majority of my life I grew up with a single parent, and even though both of my parents are still alive and well, it just I grew up at as half of my life as with a single parent. So for me, it's like I was never taught about how the body goes through the changes, the reproductive system, the organs and stuff like that. And this is how it is for a lot of kids now, because a lot of kids now they either living with their mother, they either living with their daddy, or they living with their grandparent because their mom and dad has died, or they living with an aunt, or they living with a they're living with a relative other than the joint father and mother and parent. So now it's like a lot of them are not getting taught the education they need on sexual reproduction and the organs of the body, and when a man becomes a man and a woman becomes a woman. They're not getting taught those type of things. So now it's like they're getting it from the internet, and a lot of the stuff on the internet is not true. Like when I was in college, one of the websites that our college forbid for us doing research is Wikipedia. Wikipedia is a search engine for a lot of things. It tells you who, what, when, where, why, and how on celebrities, politics, news, and anything you wanted to know. You got it through Wikipedia. Like if you want to know about a popular hip hop singer or a popular TV show, or if you want to know about, what I'm saying, a organ or a medical term or something like that, you always went to Wikipedia. So, but Wikipedia is a website where anybody can add information onto anything. Say for instance, you was a hip hop artist and you want people to know about you. You can add something on Wikipedia to your page and stuff like that. Because you can create stuff, and a lot of people do that. So my school that I went to, the college that I went to, forbid us, because like when you was on their computers or if you was on their Wi-Fi, they blocked Wikipedia because Wikipedia was not a 100% good source of finding information, because a lot of information on Wikipedia could be falsely true, or it could be information that is not okay to use when we're doing our researches or paperwork or whatever we was doing and stuff like that. So people can go to the internet, and some of that stuff off the internet cannot be true. It could be false, and it could not be misleading stuff, because a lot of these kids will go, oh, what is this and what is that, and and then there are a lot of sexual terms that kids come across, and they like, oh, what is this sexual term people talking about, or what is this sexual term people talking about, and then they look it up, and then not only do they probably get the meaning of it, they probably get the visuals of it, and they're like, oh my God, I didn't know. So it's better for them to be taught at home. But if they can't get taught, the best thing to do is to teach your kids at home. But a lot of these kids don't get taught at home. So the second best thing is teach them in school. Now a lot of people was against it because they felt like it's too much, the kids shouldn't be learning this and stuff like that. But you got to realize, you ready for your kid to learn it in school, or you ready for your kid to learn it in the streets? Because regardless, they going to learn it from somewhere. It's just that they need to learn it somehow. And a lot of these parents today, I've seen some of these, TV shows from back in the day, where a lot of these parents were scared to talk about sex, or they didn't know how to talk about sex, or they didn't know how to explain the birds and the bees to their kids because, they couldn't get the grasp feeling of how to explain it. Now you have these textbooks and these educational officials that can teach your kids. You could bring in sex professionals, like sex education professionals that can come in and teach. I wouldn't want no history teacher teaching my son about the reproductive system or something, because all they know is history. I want somebody, to me, they need to bring in somebody who is like a sex educational expert. Not saying no freaky porn star or no freaky porn director or anything, but somebody like a doctor, or somebody who's in the field of sex education. Like that needs to be like um a subject personnel, like somebody who in the field of that can teach that, that can teach kids. Because if you're a PE teacher, yes, you're a physical ed teacher, you can't teach about sex. You're teaching them how to climb a rope and how to throw a football and how to bounce a basketball, you know. And most sex educational teachers are like those mean, tough, rough. Yeah, get in there, get it, climb that rope. You're not gonna be sitting up here doing no. So my thing is, they need somebody who is in that field. I'm not saying that somebody, like I said, don't bring in no porn star or no porn director or anybody that's in the entertainment industry. You need somebody who is more into teaching that field, or more into that field, that has more experience in that field, and like teaching people, like a health personnel, that can come in and teach. It don't have to be a doctor, or for it's somebody in that field. You can have like a nurse or somebody that experienced in that, or somebody who teaches stuff like that. Like a teacher. Like a lot of these colleges have these health teachers that like these colleges that have these trade schools that have these teachers that teach health, and they have hands-on experience and stuff like that. They can bring somebody who teaches in that field about reproductive and sex and all that, because a lot of these teachers who teach in these colleges, they are experienced in teaching sex education and all that. So that's what they need, somebody in that field who knows about it, but to come in and teach that, because just like you have hands-on experience. I'm not saying they need to do it for hands-on experience, but a lot of these teachers that know about the reproductive system, the organs and stuff, they need somebody who's experienced in doing that. You just can't say, okay, so you're the health teacher, you're going to teach sex education. No, because that the health teacher doubles as the PE teacher, and because back in my day in high school, the PE teacher and the driver's ed teacher was also the health teacher. What I'm saying? And because when I went to high school, one semester you taught PE, you taught health. The next, the one half of the semester you teaching health. The second half of the semester you teaching driver's ed. So it's like, you don't want nobody like that. You want somebody who is actually trained and actually certified and stuff to teach stuff like that. Like a medical health personnel or something like that. Because a lot of these health teachers are just PE teachers and stuff like that just go by the books and say, okay, this is the book, you're gonna go on chapter this and chapter that. No, just like you have math teachers are teachers who know math. You just say finna send somebody in and say, oh, you finna teach math, and because I don't know math, I wasn't a math genius, so I'm not finna be teaching math and I don't know math. And the same thing with geography and with history and all that. I don't know about the world and the histories. I just go about what I read. And when I do history South Florida, I do my research on the parks and the histories of different locations and stuff. I don't just say, oh, I know about this place. No, because a lot of these places I don't know the history on. I'm still young. It's not like I was here in the 80s, and it's not like I was here in the 70s and the 60s and the 50s and the 40s and the 30s when all of this went on. So it's not like I know about the 1800s and the 1900s and stuff. So you need somebody in that field. So I agree, they need to have sex education in the schools, but they just need somebody trained and professionals to do it. Don't just put somebody in that position and tell them to teach it, because it wouldn't look right. They need somebody who knows and learns and breathes this, somebody who's, taught it before, or who's in that field to know that they can sit down and teach people this stuff, and that's what I feel that should happen, with this, because this is what's gonna make a lot of people disagree about it. And a lot of people was happy about it when they did it, because they said the state of Florida requires everybody to teach, every county to teach to teach sex education in their schools. And they was debating on it for a minute, because at first a lot of people didn't want to do it and they disagreed, and then they changed their mind and they agreed about it, and people started getting happy. And I know why a lot of people are happy, because they'd rather for their kids, because school is where a lot of kids get some of their vital information. And it's not from the teachers, and it's not from the faculty and staff. It's from their friends and the students and their classmates. Because their classmates, some of their classmates coming in and say, "Oh, I heard about this new sex position that you do this and do this and do this, and I heard about this where the kids be in the back of the, bleachers doing this and doing this." So they get peer pressured from their peers and their classmates and their friends on these different things that they're hearing on the street and on social media. So a lot of the kids getting their information from their friends at school and their classmates. So instead of getting it from their friends and classmates, they can get more elaboration on it through the faculty and staff members in the school, meaning the teachers can teach them more about it, you know. And it's more better for the kids to get it that way than to hear, "Oh, my friend tell me this is how they be having sex, and this is how they make love, and this is how they do this," and then you look at them like, that is nasty, because a lot of things are changing. All the time you see different people talk about different sex positions, or you see them talk about different ways of getting set, having sex, and you know, there's ways of catching diseases and catching things and stuff like that. Because not too many kids know the reproductive system. There are many ways of having a baby without having sex. There are many ways that you can do things without having to catch anything. They say the safest way to having sex is to not have sex at all. But then there are other ways that you can, like, I'm sorry to say, pleasuring yourself or doing other things to keep yourself, just keep yourself play and stuff like that. Things that kids don't know about that they need to know about. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to come home and see your kid watching a porno online and they was like, "Oh, this is what," and then they go out and do the same thing. You don't want your kids to have sex unwillingly. You want, because everybody knows the first time you have sex is supposed to be with somebody you love. Everybody knows when you have sex, you're supposed to have it with somebody you love. Don't go out here just having sex with random people, because that's number one, that's how you get somebody pregnant, and then you can also catch a disease like that. And a lot of people don't understand that, because they feel as if, okay, this is what sex is all about, so I can go and have sex and it won't do nothing to me. You know what I'm saying? I can go just do what I want to do with a person, and then there's no feeling behind it. But there's a lot of feeling behind it, because every time you have sex, regardless of what it is, it leaves a trail. It leaves a trail, because not everybody's going to remember the first time they had sex, or the first time they fell in love, or not everybody remember everybody they had sex with, especially if you're in your 50s and 60s. How many you have sex, unless you've been with the same person for 30, 40 years. Not everybody's going to remember who they had sex with. But it's just the fact that you don't want to just be randomly having sex with like 10, 20 different people. So that's why I say it's better for the schools to teach this education out here, because a lot of these people need this education. They need this, this learning experience, to know that this is what kids need nowadays to make aware of the sexual beings of today. Because now a lot of these kids are getting, most of these kids are getting pregnant at 14, 15, 16 years old. And a lot of these kids are dropping out of school. And a lot of these kids are, got to do, get jobs and take care, and they're not finishing school and stuff like that, because a lot of these kids don't have the proper education about sexual well-being to stop this. And a lot of these parents now, they're not really concerned about what's going on outside of their kids. Like when their kids walk out their door, it's like, who cares? Because their kids can be out there having sex with different people. Their kids can be out there doing whatever they want to do. And a lot of these parents don't care, because most of these parents now are more worried about, keeping the lights on, keeping a roof over their head, where their next meal coming from. They're not worried about, is my child having sex? Is my child, is reproducing? Is my child doing this or doing that? So it's up to the schools and the public school systems to make sure that a lot of these kids are out here, you know, making, getting this education so they can actually sit here and say, okay, I know this and I know this and I know this. So when I'm ready, I don't have to be in the dark on how to have sex. I don't have to be in the dark on how to do certain things, or I don't have to be in the dark on my body and how my body works and how a female body works and things like that. So you'll know when it comes down to the first time, because I've seen it where a lot of these people, they'll come when they first, and they, you see it on a lot of these shows where the kids, it's their first time. He's like, it's my first time. I don't know what I'm doing, and I don't know what I'm doing, and we can try and we can do this, and I've seen past shows and I've seen like present shows, and they'll be scared to be like, this is my first time and I'm scared and I don't know what to do, and then they feel nervous about doing it because it's your first time and you never tried it before and you're nervous and stuff. So I look at it as if yes, because a lot of these people think that basically their mind setting of you know they're kind of iffy on certain things, but then you look at it and say, okay, well, maybe it is time for me to realize, okay, I have to now look at certain things, and I have to now know that I have the education that I need, I have the education that I want, and I have the education to know that when I'm ready for it, I'll have that knowledge. And then even if they give the students textbooks, they should be able to say, can you keep the textbooks, like that? Because my closet knowledge is a lot of my books in my closet are from not high school, from college, and we get to keep our textbooks because, in college you pay for your books and stuff like that. So like if I was to go and get my knowledge was to go blank on certain things, I can go to my textbooks, look it up, and say, "Oh yeah, I remember." Even though I know in high school and college, in high school you don't get to keep the textbooks because the textbooks they could roll over to the next student for the next year, and they keep rolling over and over. But now these kids can have knowledge where they can learn this stuff, and say, "Okay, yeah, I remember this in sex education with this and this and this and all that," and it's more better for these kids, you know. And I believe this is what they should be doing. Now, the people who are opposed of it, I know those are the people who feel as if because they don't want their kids learning stuff too early at an early age. But when is the right time then for your kids to learn? At 20? By 20 years old, your kids gonna probably already be having sex. So they need to be learning this stuff now. So when it comes down to it, it's not a problem when they do have sex and they do have it for the first time. They were ready for it and they know about it, and it may prevent them from having sex because now they may say, oh, I can get a disease if I don't have sex, or I gotta remember, let me wear a condom when I'm having sex. Oh, I gotta remember how to practice safe sex and how to do this and how to do that. So now it's more easier for them when they do sex education. I want to know what y'all think about this. Do you think it is? I want to know. Do y'all think that is right to teach sex education in public schools, or do you think that it's wrong to teach sex education in public schools? Don't forget, comment at the bottom of this page. You can also email us roundtable00@yahoo.com. Also, don't forget, if you haven't liked and clicked and subscribe to our channel. And also, don't forget to check out our previous episodes, and don't forget to weigh in on your comments on previous episodes as well. And also, if you have a topic that you would like for us to discuss, you can also, email us roundtable00@yahoo.com as well to get more info. To if you would like a topic discussed. Now, if you live in another state and your state doesn't require sex education, I want to know that as well. Or does your state does require sex education, or the county that you live in or the city that you live in? Because most states may not approve of sex education, but certain cities probably approve of it. So if you do live in a city or a state that does or does not approve of sex education, let us know too, because I will want to know, are they what are these other states and these other cities and these other counties and these other areas that are, what are they doing to make sure that these kids are getting the best sex education out there? Are they teaching them sex education? Are they not teaching them sex education? Do they have community centers that teach them sex education, or do they have like little house counselings or stuff that helps these kids? Because this is something that needs to be taught everywhere, in public schools, in middle and high schools, and this is something that needs to be taught so kids know better now, have a better meaning of um the sexual well-being. And this is what I feel. This is the end of our show. I appreciate everybody for watching. This is the Roundtable Talk. I am your host, C Money. Stay blessed, stay safe, stay positive, and I will catch you in the next episode, and we will see you on the next episode of the Roundtable Talk.